Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Miller. I'm the Global Campus Career Advisor. Thank you for joining tonight to explore some career resources for Global Campus students. I did want to let you know ahead of time that this session is recorded for posterity for the video vault down the line, which is actually one of the resources I will be pointing out during this webinar. So again, thanks for joining. We'll go ahead and just jump in. If you do have any questions during the webinar, go ahead and throw them in the chat box there, and I will do my best to address them as they come in. And if I miss any for any reason, I always go back at the end of the webinar and just double check to make sure I didn't miss anything. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and disable my video here to save me some bandwidth as well. Whenever I do have a career development webinar, I start with just an overview of the career development process. We're just looking at resources tonight, so there's a good chance we'll be hitting on a lot of these different areas. But in general, if you are ever interested in career advising, working with me as your Global Campus Career Advisor, these are kind of the steps that could potentially happen, and not necessarily in any given order. But as you're, considering what you want to do for work, maybe considering or reconsidering an academic major, wanting to explore career possibilities based on your background or your interests or major, and then getting ready, for what comes next after graduation. So for getting a resume together or preparing for an interview or researching graduate schools too. So yeah, we're kind of all over this nice little snapshot here tonight. And I just kind of referenced some of these things, but if you've never worked with a career advisor before, some of the things that we help out with would be career assessment. So looking at your interests, your work values, your skills, your quote unquote work personality, to see how those might fit into the working world and make some suggestions based on your strengths and your interests to see what kind of work would be a good fit for you. Academic major selection, so looking at academic majors, not from a transfer credit standpoint, but from a employment standpoint, what you're planning on pursuing afterward. Job search strategies, networking, resumes, interviews, graduate school, and other general career resource referral. Also wanted to give just a shout out to myself for University 301. It's a 1-credit course that's offered online every semester, which is a career development course. I ideally best suited for students within the last, 3 or fewer semesters before graduation, just to prepare for what comes next. So going through those career assessments that I mentioned, researching job opportunities based on those results from your assessments, and also from your background and your interests, researching, like I said, researching job opportunities, preparing for a job search, so getting a resume together, networking, and then there's a mock job application at the end, where you can either just submit an application for a job posting that I provide in the course, or you can find your own out there in the real world and say, this is a job I'm interested in. How well does my application material prepare me for that? So that's University 301, like I said, every semester. The number one resource to get started with knowing is definitely Handshake, I would say. This is the job and internship listing, a resource for the entire university system for WSU. So all WSU campuses, Handshake is the place to go to look for jobs and internships for you as a WSU student. So, as a global campus student, it's good to note that there are job opportunities and internship opportunities that are in Handshake, around the country. This is a national resource. There are colleges throughout the country that use Handshake as their job posting board, and you would have access to see those job postings as well, and internship postings. So, I'll take a section to show you a little bit of what Handshake looks like in some areas that I would recommend using, but definitely events, jobs and internships. And then also just, I'm not going to show you the Center for Civic Engagement website, but it's there, cce.wsu.edu. If you are interested in any volunteer opportunities in your area, then you'll want to connect with the Center for Civic Engagement. to see, what kind of things might already exist for you in your area. So in your geographical area and also in your area of study potentially, based on what it is that you're trying to do, what you're thinking about doing after college, or just what your interests and passions are as a student. So the Center for Civic Engagement is a great place to get some that volunteer experience, which can be helpful for a resume. So first, let me go ahead and share my screen and take a view at Handshake here. And I'm going to be starting at ascc.wsu.edu. And this is the academic success, so academic advising and the career advising center for the main Pullman campus. But there are resources here that are relevant to all WSU students, even global campus students, even those who are coming in with years of work experience already. And so the areas that I'm going to highlight here are going to be under this drop-down menu on the top, building career skills, and also finding jobs, internships. You see right there on the homepage, there's a little visit Handshake button. You can do it that way too. I'll go the long way just to show you, kind of how to navigate around the site here, but I'll go search for a job or find an internship. You can do either, you're going to end up at the same place. For all these pages, under the career section, so building career skills and finding jobs, internships, they're all going to have a similar look here. You're going to see this toolbar at the top that you can click on any of these little buttons to jump around. And then there are going to be some articles that are relevant for the given area. And some of them are sourced from third parties. Some of them are actually written by WSU career development people. So you can go ahead and see if there's anything ever relevant for you there, anything of interest. The featured resources here are going to be at the bottom for each section. And, what we're wanting to get into right now is, of course, Handshake. And they might move that button. That's interesting. Looks like this just changed within the last 3 days. How exciting for me. But I'll go ahead and click this visit Handshake button on the very top. And it's going to have you authenticate, sign in with your WSU information. And this might look a little bit different than it would on the student side, but you're generally going to get the same thing here. So the areas that I wanted to highlight were the events section and also the job section. So I'll go ahead and start with the events and fairs under schedule here. Fairs being important right now because the beginning of usually around the beginning, within 5 or 6 weeks of the semester starting, is when the main campus will have its career fair. And over the last several years, or over the last handful of years, we have had more of a virtual component. And so it continues this year with the virtual career fair taking place on Monday, October 2nd. It's at, I think, at 10 or 11 a.m. It'll tell me here. But anyway, familiarize yourself with the different events that are happening, the career fairs. So there's an online hospitality career night that's happening for people who are in the hospitality program. So that's relevant for global campus students. The expo and the career fair virtual on Monday the 2nd. Let me just click on it to see the time there so I can just be reminded. I think it's 10 a.m. Well, there we go. 11 a.m. on Monday. 11 a.m. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Go back out just so you can see the fair. Sorry. And then other virtual career opportunities for global campus students here as well. The next part I want to show you is the event section. So this section was just for the fairs, just for those WSU recruiting events, working with employers who are looking to hire WSU students for jobs and internships. There's also some volunteer work listed in Handshake too, but for the most part, it's going to be jobs and internships. So the nice thing with the events section is you can scroll down and filter out to find the virtual events. So as a global campus student, that is most likely what you're going to be looking for. For the majority of WSU career events, as a global campus student, you would still be able to attend in person if it happened to be taking place in your area or if you were commuting to that area that had the event. So just so you know, this is, the one WSU system, we try to make sure that for the most part, for most events, all WSU students are invited. Some exclusions apply, but for the most part, that is the case. So you can see all these different virtual events that companies have been posting. And some of these are information sessions, for jobs and internships, or just to highlight the company in general as a recruiting event. There are networking events. There are all sorts of virtual events. Or sometimes they do resume reviews or mock interviews with given companies and industries. So be sure to check out, the opportunities that are listed in there. And then again, the job section is going to be, of course, a very important part. And there are going to be a lot of job postings in there right now because some of them are tied to the career fairs. But throughout the year, there are always jobs posted throughout the entire year. So just be sure if you're thinking about looking for work in the next year, it's something you're checking frequently and really getting to know. And so there are a lot of different ways to filter through, and you can see some of the different locations here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a search for where I am. I'm in Seattle. You can see different types of work here: remote, on-site, hybrid. I should do all filters is what I want to do to find my location. You can see salary type, paid, unpaid, so that would be for internships. You can see pay ranges, you can see start dates, job roles, job functions. They'll populate some options as you look in detail. Specific employers, major groups, so you can do it academically based on a college area or a specific academic major. If you're a global campus student who's pursuing like a social sciences or humanities degree, so if you're in one of those interdisciplinary studies, you can look for those posted to all majors. So a lot of different filtering options here. I'll just do Seattle. There is a physical location section. That's giving me some in Colorado, so those ones might actually be virtual or hybrid, but you can just get an idea here of all the different types of jobs that are posted in here for Seattle for hiring for all majors. So this is just a brief look at Handshake. So like I said, it's one thing you're really going to want to get to know and really familiarize yourself, because this is, if I get an employer that's trying to recruit for any WSU student, along with all the other career development people, we all tell them, make sure you post it in Handshake so all WSU students can get an idea of what's out there for them. Right, go back. Online career events. So like I already pointed out in Handshake there, be sure to check out all the different virtual career events that are posted in Handshake. There's also the Global Connections and Video Vault. So this is a Global Connections event tonight, and we record these for the Video Vault. So if you're ever interested in attending an online event and you're not able to make it, we try to make sure those are posted to the Video Vault. The Career Guide blog, I have a blog on the main website that I'll show you, and I post about once a week that highlights different virtual career events for Global Campus students. Sometimes it's promoting a specific employer or internship opportunity, but often it's a virtual or educational career fair and that's hosted virtually. Another resource I want to show you is the Alumni Association. So even if this is your very first semester, you're just getting started, this is still a really good resource for finding career development opportunities. You don't have to be a graduate to access a lot of these. And it's a good way to get to know, what happens afterward, what happens after you finish your degree and you start connecting with the university on a different level. So let me show you the Global Connections Video Vault, the Career Guide blog, and also some of those Alumni Association resources as well. Okay, I'm seeing something in the chat box. So like I said, I'm going to notice I'm gonna do my best. Is Handshake mainly for students, or can people who have graduated still use it? As long as you can authenticate with your WSU information, you can definitely still use it. So it's posted to the alumni website too. It is a resource for students and graduates of WSU. Great question. Oops, it's jumping on me. I will start with connections.wsu.edu, WSU Global Connections. The idea being all these events that are happening on campuses for campus students, we want to make sure the global campus students also have the opportunity to attend similar events and participate. So that's the whole idea of Global Connections. What I wanted to highlight was the Video Vault. So you can just see here on the left side menu, Video Vault. If you click on the categories, you will see that career development is that top one there. You can see some former presentations. There's a good one about careers in communication. I highly recommend that for communication students. Professionalism, finding the right career. That is one that I do. It's the one I will do next in October 17th. The second time I've gave myself a shout out. I'm very proud for my self-promoting here. But a lot of really nice career development presentations that we've already had, and that we will start. I know for mine, there's a certain cycle where I try to make sure I'm refreshing them on about a yearly basis. So some of these, it may be a few years old. There will be newer ones coming down the pike. So just be sure to either attend as they're offered, and if you can't make it for any reason, check out the Video Vault to see what's there. The career guide blog that I was talking about, you can access, I guess the easiest way is on the main website for us, online.wsu.edu. You can just click on Global Campus blog, or you can scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page where it highlights the blog, or it used to. I just clicked the About button accidentally there. I promise you it does. Here we go. So this is the latest news career guide blog. The career resources for global campus students event is happening right now, live. Virtual career events with Boeing, like I said, women in STEM virtual career fair. So that, to give you an idea of the kind of things I post, they're right there. The main page will filter, all the blog postings that we have right now. They've just mainly been my career opportunity ones, but you can just click on the Global Campus blog option on the left-hand menu also to filter out to see the different types. But again, my focus is with those career development opportunities. And then with the Alumni Association, alumni.wsu.edu. So there's some excellent career resources there as well. Let me check the chat box. Oh, thank you so much, Aaron, for posting that. So there are two different ways to find career resources here with the Alumni Association. You can either go to the Connect on this top menu here, the Connect button, and you drop down, you can see career development and support, and you can see some resources there, and also the events section. I will start with Connect one. Connect career development and support. I'll just click on that main button. And the nice thing about this is that, like I said before, you don't have to be a graduate, you don't have to be an alumni member to access all of these resources. There might be some where you need to be an alumni member, but for the most part, for these career development resources, you don't have to be. But another nice thing is that it's kind of filtering in information from all the different campuses. So career resources from WSU Vancouver, Tri-Cities, potentially Spokane and Everett, and us, and Pullman. So you can see that it's highlighting LinkedIn is a great networking resource for any WSU student, and that's very true. Let me click on the helpful resources button. iGrad is a nice money management tool. Our resume, CV, and cover letter resource. Resume Worded is one that I'm going to show you in a little bit here. Some action verbs form different resume guides from different university branches. Candid Career. Parker Dewey is one I should highlight just briefly. Parker Dewey and Forge, you'll see. I'll jump back over there when I show off Resume Worded. But for a global campus student who might be working full-time or part-time or balancing family, work, and school and life, that Parker Dewey and another resource called Forge are virtual internship or virtual experiential learning opportunities that are short term. So it's not a full-time or a longer part-time commitment like a traditional internship would be. So those are things that I would recommend you also exploring as a global campus student. Um, so these are some of the resources under that Connect section. There, under the events section, I'll just click on you could go to the calendar, but I just clicked on the events and programs button, and then you can filter out different career development, mostly webinars. So LGBTQ plus etiquette and common blooper, what you need to know to be an ally is coming up online. How to close your power and confidence gaps coming up online. From stuck to soaring also coming up online over the next couple months there. So other great resources that may be relevant to you, and they're all virtual. So be sure to be familiar with what's going on with the Alumni Association resources as well. Career assessment. So if you are interested in working with me as your career advisor, there's a good chance, unless you're very much focused and have already selected kind of what you're trying to achieve with your career goals, there's a good chance for most students that I work with that I have them start with a free career assessment, which is the ONET Interest Profiler, that's going to look at your general interests and career interests and disinterests and work preferences and suggest some careers that might be a good fit for you. So the one that I'm not going to show you because there's a lot to it, but just to let you know ahead of time that that's something that I would likely have you start with as a student if you were working with me in career advising. There's a couple other options for WSU students. My majors quiz is a global campus one that is a nice resource to help you more it is from a career perspective, but definitely from an academic major perspective to help you do that same thing of assessing your interests and strengths and see which academic major might be a good fit for you. I'll show you where that is. And that's something that communicates with the WSU Global Campus advising team and the admissions team if you were a prospective student. So that's something to know about. And then Focus 2 is a more comprehensive assessment tool for WSU students. I'll show you where that is as well. Okay, my major's Focus 2. So I'm going to go back to online.wsu.edu, not the blog. Let's just go back up to the top of the homepage there. There are some other ways to get to it, but I think the get started one is probably the easiest. Make a major discovery, it says right there. So this is a tool that prospective students use, but also anyone who's a current student who's considering changing their major. I would recommend it as a nice option here. And so just have you set up your profile here, free quiz. Like I said before, it'll communicate to the relevant WSU Global Campus staff members too to help you afterward. So that's where my majors quiz is. Focus 2, if you are taking a more comprehensive look at career assessment. And when I say that, I mean looking at your work interests, your work, your skills, your work values, and your work personality. So that's going to be back at ascc.wsu.edu. I'll just do the main page here. And then under, just because I said I was going to highlight that too, let's go find an internship before I look at Focus 2. And you can just scroll to the bottom of the page or click one of the buttons at the top. Featured resources, it will jump us down to the bottom here. So like I said, Parker Dewey micro internships right there. And Forage might have been moved, but Parker Dewey is right there. Check out Forage also. Forage is a nice resource for short-term internships. But for the career assessment piece, under exploring your interests and self-assessment under building career skills, this is how you find Focus 2. Like I said before, you're going to have that same look for all of these pages. or it's going to have those sourced articles. Some of them are, like I said, WSU staff members. Some of them are third parties. But here's the Focus To link right there. And that's where you would sign up for your profile. And the nice thing about it is you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go. You don't have to do every assessment that they have. You can kind of, if you do one and you like it, and you do another, you don't like it, you can kind of pick and choose how you want to focus your assessment tools. But in terms of priority, I would say interests, values, skills, and work personality is my general recommendation, which is what I would do if you were to take University 301, the class that I offer. That is the order in which you would take the career assessments. Okay, that would be Focus To. Sure, I'm not forgetting anything here. Cogs are turning in my brain. The little hamster wheel is going. Excellent. Some other resources I want to highlight. Just the process for getting started. If you are interested in career advising, I'll show you where to go for that. ASCC, we've been spending some time in. I want to show you Labor Market Insights and Resume Worded. And also, I've already shown you some of those featured resources like Parker Dewey and Focus To. And I also want to show you the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So Labor Market Insights and the Occupational Outlook Handbook are going to be career researching tools. And Resume Worded is going to be a nice AI tool to help you compare and contrast your resume or resume materials with a job application or internship application. But to get started, if you were interested in career advising at any time with me, that is the third shout out for myself, I would say technically. It's got to be a record. Let's go back to online.wsu.edu. Not there. Let's make a major discovery and go back. Online.wsu.edu. Like a lot of things, there are different ways to get there. As a student, current student, if you were a prospective student, you can do it under Get Started and go explore careers. But let's go under current student, click on that button. Career support services on the left-hand menu. There's a drop down. You can just do request or click on the main button. Either way, it'll get you there. But that's all you do. You just fill out a form here, and then I would send you an intake email basically by the end of the next business day to get the process started. So yeah, that is pretty simple. And I've already talked about some of the topics for career advising, but you should just know as a Global Campus student, it's available for you. It's free. It's also a resource available for Global Campus alumni. And then I wanted to show you, let's go back over to ascc.wsu.edu. Actually, I will do Resume Worded first because I'll want to compare and contrast Occupational Outlook Handbook with Labor Market Insights. So let's do building career skills here. Create a resume cover letter. And I will just go ahead and click on featured resources to jump down, since now we know about the articles there. There's a resume and cover letter guide, resume examples to help you if you're starting from scratch or just trying to kind of improve the resume content that is on your existing resume. But Resume Worded is the one that I wanted to highlight as an excellent tool here. I will attempt to sign in and show you how it works. This is where I cross my fingers and say sometimes it works for me and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it always ends up working for me, but for the purposes of presentation, it's not always a success for certain reasons I won't get into. But let's go ahead and try to log myself in here. That is me. That is me. And that's okay because that was from okay. All right, it did save it. Excellent. So what I've done here is I've copied and pasted in a mock job application. This is not a real company. This is not a real job or internship posting. It's a fake one. But the idea is you sign in, you get a real job posting, real internship posting that you're interested in. You copy and paste it in. And then you upload your resume. Now I am going to try and do this. And it's definitely going to work for me. definitely going to work for me. And this is not a real person. There we go. This is not a real person's resume. This is a mock resume. Ah, it is working. Look at this. How exciting. So what it's doing is comparing, contrasting, the resume with that job or internship posting, showing you what they're really focusing on with that job or internship posting and how well you are addressing it in your resume. So Mr. Suber here, not a real person, has hit a 35, and they have a number of 85 that they want you to hit, which is less important to me. It's what's more important really is them showing you these are the keywords that are in this job or internship posting. This is how well you're addressing them, and they give you ideas of what you can do to remedy that. So it's something it would take a long time to go into in depth. I just wanted to show it to you and give you a general idea of how it works. All right. Checking that. My discount is unlocked. That's very exciting. Okay, now I want to show you the Occupational Outlook Handbook, bls.gov/OOH. So this is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics career researching data collecting center that is kind of forecasting over the next usually about 10 years. How is a given career, how is a given industry growing? Is it declining? What kind of money are people making that are doing that kind of job? How do people prepare to do a certain kind of job? It's a really excellent career researching tool that I love, and I always recommend to anyone who is in that career researching phase or going back to it. There's an A through Z alphabetical index here. You can just click if you're looking for something specific. There's occupational grouping, and there's a featured occupation here also, which I like to just refresh my screen to see what pops up as I'm finding something that's relevant for Global Campus. And on the first refresh, I see HR specialists, which would be one of our academic areas. So I'll go ahead and click view profile for HR specialists to give you an idea of what kind of information you can find with Occupational Outlook Handbook. Okay, so just a summary page at first that's collecting information from all these other tabs at the top here. So summary, what they do, work environment, how to become one, pay, job outlook, that's how it gets its name, state and area data, similar occupations, and more info. So what do HR specialists do? So you can see a list of duties here, and then also specific skills and what it means for this job. So it's nice when you see on some of them, and actually it might be in a different section where it talks about, communication skills, management skills. What does that actually mean for HR specialists? So a nice thing about this is obviously learning about the job, but also this information that you can use for a resume or a cover letter or job application material. So that is what they do. What's the environment like? There's a percentage of different industries. For this one, how to become one, how does one prepare to be HR specialist? They need a bachelor's degree in HR, business communications, or a related field, excuse me. This one has the important qualities here at the bottom I was talking about. So communication skills, what does that mean for an HR rep? Listening and speaking are essential. They must convey information effectively and respond to questions and concerns from employers, job applicants, and employees. So you'll often see communication skills listed under a given job area, but it's going to be a different definition of that. Obviously, salary information is extremely helpful and important with career researching. So you can see what one may be expected to earn in different areas of a given job. Job outlook, how it gets its name. So it's expected to grow 6% from 2022 to 2032, faster than the average for all occupations, but not by much. I'd say that's close to being about the same growth. State and area data. Similar occupations is nice. So if you find something that maybe doesn't pay enough, or there's a lot of schooling involved, and maybe you don't want to commit to all of that, then you can look into some relevant job areas also. The often forgotten about but highly helpful More Info tab is a great place to find professional associations, organizations relevant for a given job area. So this is great for getting connected if you're if it's something you're planning on pursuing. So you can really start with the networking aspect, becoming a member, learning more about the ins and outs of the industry. So you can see Certification Institute here, Society for HR Management, etc. That's Occupational Outlook Handbook. Let me jump to the chat there before I move on. The BLS website is a risky website. In my experience, I haven't had any problems with that. It's a .gov. I'm not on Firefox. I'm on Chrome, so take that for what it means. But I've never had any issues with BLS.gov, and there are a lot of different resources here. I'm just showing you the Occupational Outlook Handbook. The other one I wanted to highlight was one of our resources. So let's go back to ascc.wsu.edu. Start at the beginning, so I know where we're going. Because labor market insights actually something you can connect to in different areas. So I guess let's do build a network. Maybe that's it, either one you do. It doesn't matter which one you do here. Networking, resume, interests, like you've seen, you're going to get those same featured resource, well, different resources for different areas, but you're going to get these same options with these buttons. So let's go to, well, let's just go to labor market insights, jump directly to it. Or you can just scroll down to the bottom of the page here. But just to highlight how this is different from the Occupational Outlook Handbook, it has a more specific geographical look, more helpful information in your area. So selecting an industry here, drop down menu, something for global campus. Let's do marketing. An occupation within marketing, sales, et cetera, et cetera. Let's do, these are all marketing operations here. Let's do research analysts and marketing specialists, because that can actually fit two of our majors with data also. Let's not, well, we can look at nationwide occupational descriptions, but let's keep going down this filter here and look in Washington. So scroll down. Why you got to be at the bottom, Washington? And let's go even further. And I am a King County resident, so I'm going to go to King. This will be helpful when you actually get to this menu on the left side when you look at job titles and companies. That's where the county information is going to be helpful. But what are the core tasks for this occupation? So marketing research analyst. Again, it's going to be similar to the information you would find here, that you would find there, I should say, in the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And again, helpful information to use for a resume. Employment trends, again, going to be similar to what you would see with the Occupational Outlook Handbook over the next 10 years, 20% growth. That's excellent. That is really faster than the average. Top employers. So here are the employers in Washington, in King County, I should say, in Washington. Educational level that makes up most of the population of market research analysts. So likely a bachelor's degree can help in a lot of, will be sufficient in a lot of areas, and a master's or professional degree will be required in others. Annual earnings, technical skills required, core competencies, again, great resume info, and also job titles. And so these are, again, some of those related careers to research, which with Occupational Outlook Handbook, they're going to be more general. With Labor Market Insights, these are going to be much more specific job titles. So that's really helpful too for job seeking to have these other titles to filter, to look for. So that is Labor Market Insights, a great tool. And hit on all those. Excellent, excellent. Oh, excellent. So this brings us about to the end. So I will actually jump back to this page, but wanted to throw this out there for anyone interested in an esports jersey. It's the first time we've done this. You get your personalized global esports jersey, support your global campus esports team, get $20 off your order here. I will come back to this slide in just a second, but I just want to say thank you for joining tonight as I explored some of those career resources available to you as WSU Global Campus students. This is my contact information right there. Email is the best way to get in touch with me. And I've showed you the link to start the process for career advising, but you can always just send me an email and I could get you going there too. The career support website I've showed you, and also that career guide blog. So that's great. We've hit everything. If you have any questions, let me know. I will hang out. Let me show you again this slide for you if you are interested in a WSU Global Esports jersey, which I think look pretty cool. Scared of taking the career quiz? Well, the nice thing is if you want to work with me, I would help you through that process and let you know there's nothing scary about any career assessments. I have students take a look at things to keep in mind ahead of time before you even take a career assessment to kind of put everything in perspective and to know that there's no career assessment that exists that will accurately and fully measure you as a person. It's just a nice piece of the puzzle to help you get started with your career development journey and help you with your career researching. But I can definitely understand the sentiment for sure. Yes, I do. Let me show you where that cover letter resource is. It's in the WSU resume packet. Just so let me just jump over there, and it would be at ascc.wsu.edu. Just jump over there. Oh, it looks like I'm at the right page because I was there for labor market insights. So this is at the bottom of the page. Let me just click on the not featured classes, featured resources. We'll just bump me up here. Minimize my chat. So resume and cover letter guide right there. Go ahead and click on that, and it's going to be at the bottom. So it's going to have resume information at the top. I will just jump to the last two pages are going to be the cover letter, the form, the recommended format in a true letter form, and kind of talks about what you want to do with each section there, and then also a sample at the end to get an idea of how Still in School, great name, Still in School, did their cover letter. So that's that resume and cover letter guide. So again, at ascc.wsu.edu under that building career skills drop-down menu in the resume area, and it's one of the featured resources there, that resume and cover letter guide. Hi, Fatima. Excellent question. Caught me while I was trying to sneak in a snack here at the end too. There are a lot of different steps to that. And so if you're interested in starting that process, I would say just go ahead and send me an email or fill out that career advising form to get started. And we could start talking about the different things needed for different types of graduate school applications. But yeah, it's a process, that's for sure. But definitely something that a lot of global campus students are very successful in doing. So yeah, there's a lot to that one for sure, but great question.